This story takes place in a time when the entire planet has been destroyed. The enormous robotic cities are home to the surviving. The fact that these artificial cities resemble cars suggests that cities are in motion. Here, we witness London City, a massive bustling metropolis. Commander Thaddeus of London orders his men to seize a small city and steal its food and resources. And here we see the small city being pursued by the City of London. There is a girl in the tiny moving city as well, but her face is covered. That tiny engine didn't go very fast. Therefore, London City was getting closer to it. London finally opens its gates and engulfs the little city, and this little engine is tossed into a furnace after breaking down. London is propelled by this furnace, which gives the metropolis its momentum. People from small cities are also caught. Rather than executing them, London City would like to accept their work. Nonetheless, residents in small cities lack trust because they fear death. When Thaddeus arrives, he gives them the assurance that they will remain as fellow citizens. Tom, the individual we meet here, has a fondness for the assortment of antiquated items. He is also an authority in both technology and history. Here, Tom meets the daughter of Mr. Valentine. She is curious as to what led to the elimination of our planet. On Earth, we once lived. How did these modifications come about? Tom reveals that many years ago, a quantum weapon was the reason behind the destruction of our planet. In under 60 minutes, this quantum weapon had obliterated the entire world. After escaping their former lives, the survivors built the gigantic engines that are now our home in London. On the other hand, some people live conventional lives and oppose the use of mortal engines. Tom sees his old habits. It is the same thing that a tiny city gave to London. He is observing everything. There, Thaddeus also arrives to thank Tom for his efforts. You wanted to be a pilot and received training in it. Thaddeus asks Tom, "Why then did you begin this investigation?" According to Tom, "I was forced to forget my dream due to circumstances, and I was forced to carry it out." He also finds fulfillment in his career. The same girl in the mask is visible now. She approaches Thaddeus and grabs a knife to murder him. Hester is the name of the girl who is attempting to assassinate Thaddeus. Once more, Tom interrupts the girl as she reaches there, but as soon as she pushes Tom, the girl starts to run. Thaddeus and Tom go after that girl. Tom swiftly snatches the girl's hand as she is about to collapse while she is running, saving her from further injury. And this girl informs Tom that Thaddeus is a terrible person rather than who he appears to be. She parts her hand and tumbles into that large well, claiming he has killed my mother. When Thaddeus arrives there at the same time, a worried Tom informs him about the girl's talk. She was referring to you as a killer. Upon hearing it, Thaddeus shoved Tom into the same small pit. Additionally, Tom is kicked out of well rotating. In the meantime, Thaddeus' daughter arrives and asks Tom to help her father. Furthermore, Thaddeus dramatizes how Tom and the extraterrestrial female got into a fight and fell into the well. "I'm sorry, as he was a decent boy." Thaddeus dramatizes the circumstance while lying. As is evident, this girl witnesses Tom's terrified pal starting to suspect him at the same moment. Thaddeus dispatches a plane in the following scene to find out if Tom and that girl are still alive. But that plane is unable to locate anything, since they are concealed on a mountaintop. With her knife out, Hester lashes out at Tom, threatening to kill Thaddeus if you hadn't stopped her. As Hester is about to depart, Tom ceases to beg for her assistance. He declares, "I want to share his secret and reality with everyone. I have lived my entire life in London." Hester concurs upon hearing it. Here, we see Thaddeus, who was engaged in his covert energy project. Additionally, he uses fusion cells as a power source. Even Thaddeus' top commanders were in the dark about Thaddeus' work on the covert project. This location was strictly secured and only Thaddeus was allowed to access. However, Thaddeus was afraid that Hester would believe she was a barrier to his project's success. The doctor that Thaddeus works with on the ship suggests that he visit with a prisoner who is incarcerated in the middle of the sea. He is a beast and a monster that goes by Hester every time. Wanting to kill her, Thaddeus walks straight to see the green-eyed monster. Its green eyes outweigh the fear. After Thaddeus attacks the jail, the monster escapes and goes to go for Hester in hopes of killing her. There's no food, so Hester and Tom settle for stale bread. After eating, they nod off. Hester awakens to the sound of model motors running. She notices Tom is requesting assistance from a few engines. Tom had no idea that cities treat those who capture them like victims. They were assaulted by hunter cities, but a city like Centipede comes to their rescue. However, their saviors are considerate and provide tea. Conversely, the daughter of Lord Thaddeus meets Tom's buddy because she believes her father's life is in jeopardy. He is the same friend that saw Tom and the girl fall into the well with their eyes. When Thaddeus's daughter says, "You know something," she asks for his assistance. "What would you do after knowing?" asks Tom's pal. "My father's life is in jeopardy," she declares, but that friend responds, "It's not your father who's in danger, it's our lives, since it was your father who shoved Tom and knocked him down to make room for himself. If not, Tom's acquaintance also informs us that your father is developing a covert weapon that he will use to strike towns that, unlike us, do not rely on mortal engines. They wish to go beyond the limits of producing this weapon, since, in your father's words, we can defeat those cities with this weapon because they have weapons, fuel, and food." Thaddeus's daughter is disappointed as she knows this. When Hester and Tom reappear, they realize that their assistant is not guiding them in the proper way. Their helpers bring them to a place where alive people are bargained, which means they are sold. There is a bid being made for Hester Shaw, and a random person is about to buy her. At the same time, the most wanted criminal in London, Anna Fang, arrives. In essence, Anna is much sought after since she opposes Thaddeus and London's ideas, and Anna Fang opens fire here, save Tom and Hester from certain death. The green-eyed monster is also making its way there in the meantime. However, we now learn that Hester Shaw has a keen sense of that monster, though how she senses it is unknown, and Anna Fang, sitting in her jet, barely escapes with their lives after saving them both from that monster. Anna questions Hester on her flight. How does she know that monster? And why is he trying to murder you? Hester narrates, "This monster, whom I call Shrike, raised me and showed me love. When Thaddeus killed my mother, I had no one to turn to for assistance, and it was this green monster that found me, fed me, and cared for me. However, I was primarily miserable, and when the monster saw it, he pledged to change me to become like him. In order for you to remember your sorrows, stop being depressed, and make a vow to me like me, you will be a monster, so that you can live a long time." With it, she makes a pledge, and after learning Thaddeus Valentine's whereabouts and that he is still alive, she flees the beast with the intention of killing him. This explains why Hester fled the monster despite her vow to stay. However, the creature is enraged and wants to murder Hester because she managed to escape. Once more, the city of London appears, but this time it's going in an unknown direction. Thaddeus's superior officer meets him in the church after learning of it. "How can you do it without my will?" he asks. The top office of Thaddeus discovers that Thaddeus is working on a confidential project. It is the engulfs project, nothing else. Many years ago, this project led to the annihilation of our world, and this was another weapon that Thaddeus had developed. Before the superior officer could stop him, Thaddeus kills him. Tom's pals and Thaddeus's daughter were also watching all of this. It implies that Thaddeus's reality was revealed to his daughter. Conversely, Anna Fang arrives at the airport and sets down her airship. She also meets her friends and presents Tom and Hester to them. They are aware that London City is speeding toward them. It desires to assault us. Also, Thaddeus has an engulfs system, according to Anna Fang. The only way to stop him is if this system crashes, but there doesn't appear to be a fix. Hester Shaw recalls that Thaddeus and her mother were close friends. They were both accomplished scientists, but once her mother created a device that could control engulfs, Thaddeus saw an opportunity to seize it and assassinated her mother in order to obtain the machine and engulfs control. The only way to wreck that system at this point was to have a crash drive. Yet, nobody is aware of the drive's location yet. They are all in trouble, and another trouble monster shows up to wreck the airport at the same moment. Every soldier tries to slay the creature, but to no avail, and Tom is also caught by this creature. Hester stops him as he is ready to kill Tom, telling him, "Don't kill, I love him." Monster leaves Tom as he finds her dejected and with tears in her eyes, because the monster never intended for any of his actions to cause Hester to cry unhappily. And now we see that the same creature will sustain harm. He offers Hester a necklace before he dies, saying, "This locket was around your neck when you met me. I safeguarded it." That locket is given to her. all depart from the airport while seated in their airship. That monster is no longer alive there. Additionally, the airport as a whole is destroyed, and they arrive in Sarong, a city where people are still living their traditional lives. Once more, Thaddeus is shown announcing to his people that they will demolish the Sarong wall. In other words, the Sarong wall was extremely strong and had never been broken. However, Thaddeus claims that we have a weapon that can win any kind of conflict. Now that we have destroyed that wall, we can take Sarong. Meals, petrol, a place to live, and many more things will be provided. Everyone is happy. As we launch an early attack on London City, Anna obeys the orders of her superior commander, the governor, because Thaddeus will use metropolis to destroy our city if we do not attack first. Sarong Air Force and Army are prepared for an attack, and the governor grants permission. Hester unlocks the locket her mother gave her, glancing at it. When she checks inside, she discovers the same crash disk that can aid in the destruction of metropolis. She tells Tom about it. Conversely, Thaddeus launches an attack against them as metropolis approaches. This attack ruins any landing plans on that wall and damages the wall as a whole, and they both notify Anna Fang about this collision drive. Not everyone is attacking the city of London collectively. Numerous soldiers are slain, and numerous airships are destroyed en route. Finally, a few individuals arrive in London. The altercation between Thaddeus and Anna is happening here. This causes his attention to be diverted. Hester, sensing her opportunity, enters the church where metropolis was getting re-energized because he needed to launch another attack. And after a fierce battle, Hester manages to crash the metropolis weapon and fix her mother's USB. It indicates that the system has now shut down. On the other hand, Anna Fang begs Hester to flee after suffering serious injuries. However, Anna Fang has lost the struggle. After leaving the church, Thaddeus runs into his daughter. He tells her to flee, but she is aware of his truth. "I don't want to go with a killer," she adds to him. He starts to walk away. Hester arrives on his path to exact revenge as he is leaving. However, Thaddeus reveals the truth by stating, "Hester, you are my daughter. Your mother had intimate relations with me." Knowing it shocks Hester. Thaddeus's daughter, on the other hand, visits the London City control room because that wall where human remains still lay was being approached by their mortal city. Though all control systems were compromised, she still wants to halt it. She could not stop it. She accepts Tom's assistance. Tom, seated aboard his airship, destroys London's power source. It alludes to the same furnace that provided London with the energy it needed to advance. He really wrecks it. Tom notices that Hester and Thaddeus are still at odds. Tom approaches them and leaves to save Hester. There, Thaddeus stumbles and collapses. But as he looks around and realizes that London is right there by his side, he closes his eyes and the city of London crushes him. Additionally, Thaddeus has passed away here, and the city has also halted. It implies that nothing advances. The London city survivors ask Sangren to provide them with refuge. The governor of Sangren welcomes them. Tom and Hester give each other a hug before taking a seat on their airship to relax, and they go for a short trip enjoying themselves. The story of movie ends here. Thanks for watching.